Hi, welcome to VLS Kitchen. Today we're going to be making fajitas. Let's get started.
When we choose onions, they should be free from any sign of decay, no discoloration, or dark black marks, heavy for the size with firm and dry paper-like skin, free from bruises.
When selecting peppers, we want to look for bright colors, and as we have here, we have orange, red, and yellow in color. And when choosing it, we want to make sure that the skin is tight and shiny, and there shouldn't be any impurities, bruises, or any soft spots. And as for the stem, we want to make sure it's solid green in color.
When selecting chicken, you must first decide on the cut: breast, thigh, wing, or whole chicken, as well as what kind of state you want to buy it in: fresh, frozen, or cooked. We decided on fresh chicken breast for this recipe. When buying chicken, you need to press down on the chicken. If the chicken is fresh, it should spring back up. If it's not, it will sink. It should be well wrapped, free from leaks or abnormal liquids. Check for a best before date. Now, you need to look at the chicken skin. It should be pink, never gray or transparent. Now, look at the chicken fat to see if it's yellow, deep yellow, or white. It should never be pale or gray. And finally, check for a clean smell.
Let's talk about how to store our ingredients. Whole onions should be kept in a cool, dry, dark, and well-ventilated area to decrease its spoiling rate. Examples could be pantry, cellar, basement, or garage. They should be stored in a temperature range of 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. They should not be stored in a plastic bag because this causes bad ventilation, and whole onions absorb moisture easily, which makes them become mushy and spoil faster, so must ensure they stay dry.
Olive oil must be kept in a cool and dark storage space. After opening the bottle of olive oil, this exposes the oil to the oxygen, which begins the oxidative rancidity process. This is when the chemical breakdown of fat known as triglyceride in the olive oil. This process would produce undesirable odors and flavors. To slow down the process, the olive oil must be tightly sealed in a dark area and away from heat.
Now, chicken should be wrapped in semi-permeable packaging and stored at the bottom shelf of the refrigerator to stop the juice from falling onto other foods and potentially contaminating them. Chicken must be stored at 4 degrees Celsius or below to stay out of the danger zone. Fresh chicken should be kept in the fridge for up to 3 days. Frozen chicken can stay stored in the freezer for 6 to 12 months. If it was cooked chicken, it can be stored in the freezer for 4 months. Now for physical changes. We are slicing the onions with a chef knife into slivers. First, we will peel the onion to remove the skin. Then we cut the onion in half, then start cutting the onion lengthwise to cut the onion julienne style. This is a physical change because we are changing the way the onion looks by using a sharp knife to cut them into smaller pieces. They are not exposed to heat, acid, or any other chemical reaction.
Now we are going to shred the cheese. Here we have a block of cheddar cheese. Using the shredder, we will be using the largest shred on this grater. Then we will take the cheese and push it down the length of the shredder to cut the cheese into smaller pieces. This will help melt it faster when exposed to heat, and this is not a chemical change because we are only changing the appearance of the cheese from a bigger block of cheese to shredded cheese.
Now all our ingredients are ready to go, so we got some chicken, cheese, peppers, onions, and a variety of spices. Now for our chemical changes.
When cooking chicken, we are using a dry heat method. When the poultry proteins are exposed to high temperatures, the proteins begin to denature, releasing water. Before the chicken begins to cook, we can see that there are little amounts of myoglobin within, creating a pale pink color. Then, as chicken is heated, it creates a myoglobin, a white color. The best method to determine doneness is to check the internal temperature by putting the meat thermometer in the thickest part of the chicken. Doneness could also be determined by color change. The chicken should start as a light pink color to a white color and can be determined by the color of the juices if they run clear. Overcooking the chicken can make it dry, tough, and stringy.
Here you can start seeing the color change in some of the chicken pieces and the release of water. Now we will be cooking the onions. When cooking the onions, we will be using a dry heat cooking method by frying them in olive oil. Anthocyanin is a pigment in the onion's vacuoles, giving it its white cream color. This pigment is heat sensitive, meaning that they change from a white to a yellow color when it is exposed to heat. Onions also have sulfur-containing compounds, and to ensure we have mildly flavored onions, we must expose these compounds to low heat for a long period of time in order to break them down, then creating a sweet onion flavor. Here we see a little bit of a color change. The white is now turning yellow. Now we have our peppers and onions sauteing.
So we turn it off the heat, and then we're going to combine the vegetables with the chicken. Mixing the cooked vegetables and the chicken together using a circular motion to combine their flavors. This is not a chemical change because we are only combining the flavors together and not changing anything chemically.
Now we are assembling the fajitas.
We will be using a dry heat method to melt the cheese. Melting the cheese breaks down the fat and the protein bonds. This makes the cheese soft and collapse into a thick fluid. Adding an acid will bind to the calcium, resulting the cheese to be smooth and melted. The water content from the acid dilute the protein and keep the cheese melted. We need to melt the cheese at a low temperature in a short period of time to prevent fat separating and protein becoming tough, or else this will cause an oily and stringy product.
So here's our final product. So we're going to enjoy our fajitas and we're going to start studying for finals. So get out of here.